With so many things that happened in the past, added to transparent issues, the public became suspicious of COVID-19 vaccines. Most people probably wondered why the vaccines were done in less than a year. What they didn't know was the vaccines were repurposed vaccine designs, supposedly made for SARS and MERS. Another reason was the vaccine being new at 53%. There are several unknowns because the vaccines weren't tested in real-world conditions. Dr. Nikhila Juvadi at Chicago's Loretto Hospital told NPR, "There's no transparency between pharmaceutical companies or research companies or the government sometimes." Dr. Juvadi referred to the African American and Latino populations. These populations have no idea how many people from their communities took part in the research. Without that detail, they are unable to trust the vaccine's safety and effectiveness. Also, they encountered the term guinea pig, which raised their mistrust further. According to Forbes, only fewer than 50% of hospital workers at St. Elizabeth Community Hospital in California were willing to get vaccinated, while about 50% of frontline workers in Los Angeles refused the vaccines. The county had to figure out how to reallocate these doses to avoid waste. The world needs to find a way to move past these hurdles to fight the pandemic and the new coronavirus variant.
It's called the green passport. We're not told to wear it, but what they have done is they have essentially overnight created a second-class citizenry, a true medical apartheid that is disallowing healthy, law-abiding, tax-paying citizens from entering their places of culture if they do not participate in this experiment. It's that simple. We've been told there are people who've been kicked out of their choirs, out of their pools, out of their gyms. I don't know who's going to hear the message we're saying. I don't know what is going to become of it. I know that there is no other option than to give every fiber of energy and strength into battling this because there is no other option. There is everything to lose and everything to gain. I think it's actually never been simpler in some ways. And I believe that it's, I believe quite simply that we are privileged to have this truth. There is truth that I think is a common denominator against all these different people, different countries, different languages, and we all are seeing and speaking a very clear truth. And I think that truth is an absolute gift, but it's an obligation. And it wasn't given to us to just sit at home and with this apathy and hope for the best. We've got to all come together because really this is how we win. Making these connections between us, country after country, that is the only thing that these governments fear. They have the wealth of empires behind them. But when the people realize that we are the many and they are the small, they have nothing. They have nothing. And I can never give up on that hope that we're gonna build this force and take our lives back.
From afar, what you're doing to combat COVID, and the numbers are, it's just amazing what you're doing there. 88% of anyone over the age of 50 has already been vaccinated, and then some 75% of those aged at least 50 years old are already eligible for what you call a green pass. How are you getting to this point? What's your advice for the rest of the world? How do we do what you're doing?
Well, first of all, it's actually 90% of Israelis of all ages above 16 years have been jabbed at least once, and many of them twice, and the others are recovering. So we're how can I say this? We're rushing towards herd immunity. How did we do this? Quick decisions, a tremendous distribution system. I would say the mobilization of the citizenry. They understood that their health and their lives are dependent on it. So we're very proud of this. You know, Israel used to be known and is known as a startup nation. From today, it'll be also known as the vaccination nation. We're setting the model for the world. We're very proud of it. And we're sharing our experiences with the U.S. with every other country. In fact, I've got the prime ministers of Denmark and Austria, the chancellor of Austria, who are coming here today, now, in about 20 minutes. We'll begin a meeting to share Israel's experience so we can benefit other nations too as they come out of COVID.
But today, the two leaders were all smiles, saying reporters had gotten it all wrong. They never gave each other the cold shoulder.
The bond between the United States and Israel is unbreakable.
Reports about the demise of the special U.S.-Israel relationship aren't just premature, they're just flat wrong.
Hello, you're listening to Hugo Talks. It looks like the government is planning on snooping on everyone online in the near future in the UK. That is, of course, if they're not doing it already. Well, they are. That's what it states in this article. But as suggested, it's going to be going into overdrive soon, so they are saying. Here we have in Wired. The UK is secretly testing a controversial web snooping tool. The Investigatory Powers Act, or Snoopers Charter, was introduced in 2016. Now, one of its most contentious surveillance tools is being secretly trialled by internet firms. It says here for the last 2 years, police, the National Crime Agency and internet companies across the UK have been quietly building and testing surveillance technology that could log and store the web browsing of every single person in the UK. The tests, which are being run by two unnamed internet service providers, the Home Office and the National Crime Agency, are being conducted under controversial surveillance laws introduced at the end of 2016. If successful, data collection systems could be rolled out nationally, creating one of the most powerful and controversial surveillance tools used by any democratic nation. Democratic nation? Don't think so. So again, we look at everything being lined up at the same time from different angles. We all know these jib-jab passports is the destination these governments, World Economic Forums and United Nations of the world, they want to go to. That seems to be their goal. That is clear when you see the push for it in Israel and how other countries like the UK and Ireland are saying that they want to follow Israel's lead.
And we gave up to 1.3 million shots a day before he even took over. So not only did we have the vaccine, and one thing we did, we took a big bet on this. We started manufacturing the vaccine before we really knew it worked. We saved many, many months and millions of lives by doing that, because you wouldn't have the vaccine right now if we didn't take that chance. We knew what we were doing. We knew that we felt strongly it was going to work, and we took a risk, and the risk was spending billions of dollars to develop it before we knew and before we had the approval that it was going to work. It works incredibly well, 95%, maybe even more than that. It works incredibly well, and it's really saving our country, and it's saving, frankly, the world.
So, Mr. President, I know that you received the vaccine. Mrs. Trump also got the vaccine. Would you recommend to our audience that they get the vaccine then?
I would recommend it, and I would recommend it to a lot of people that don't want to get it, and a lot of those people voted for me, frankly. But, you know, again, we have our freedoms, and we have to live by that, and I agree with that also. But it's a great vaccine, it's a safe vaccine, and it's something that works. And we've been working round the clock, and what I got the FDA to do, this would have happened. This would have happened in many, many years from now if I didn't get involved and if we didn't get involved.
Was feeling kind of seasick. The crowd called out for more. The room was humming harder. face at first, just go to sleep. Turn the